I'm not gonna lie, there were moments I thought it was over. My first business was a total flop, and my second almost went under. But I learned something crucial. Entrepreneurship isn't about having the perfect plan, it's about surviving the chaos. And here's what I wish someone had told me from day one. For me, the true death of a business, or at least the moment I knew things were dire, always came down to one terrifying thought. Am I going to have to get a job? That thought isn't about financial struggle. For me, it's a direct attack on my deepest values. I got into entrepreneurship for freedom. The freedom to chart my own course, to dedicate myself to something I love, and to always be in that never-ending feeling of growth. Every single time I reached that point, that crushing realization that a job might be my only option, I would lose a part of myself. It felt like a defeat, not just for the business, but for me. My first design business, the one I talked about in the last video, that's exactly what happened. After months of chasing perfection, building, and making zero money, the well ran dry. I was flat broke, and the internal pressure became unbearable. I didn't consciously quit, but I stopped because the thought of having to go back to trade my freedom for a paycheck became a real possibility. I couldn't sustain it, and the dream of that freedom slipped away. Then, with my second company here in the Netherlands, we entered a new phase. We had partners, we were actually trying to sell, but even then, the struggle was real. We stuck with it for 2 unbelievably long years before it truly became sustainable. There were so many moments in those 2 years where that familiar, crushing thought crept back in. And I asked myself again, is this going to force me back into a job? The financial pressure, the constant adjustments, the feeling that you're pouring everything into something that just isn't quite hitting. It wears you down. You start to doubt not just the business, but yourself. And that's when survival becomes the only goal. It's not about grand strategies anymore. It's about making it to the next week, to the next month. So how did we survive those 2 years? How did I avoid that dreaded return to a job? Funny enough, it wasn't about completely reinventing the wheel. It was about pivoting and angling our product differently. We weren't doing anything radically new in what we offered. But everything changed in how we presented it, who we chose to work with, and most importantly, how we thought about the business's finances. This was a brutal lesson. You need a balance between short-term income and a long-term view. You can't be building a revolutionary platform that's supposed to earn your income in 5 years if you can't pay your rent this month. This sounds so obvious, so easy in hindsight. You might think, how could I have been so blind? But I see it in myself, and I see it in so many passionate entrepreneurs I speak with. We get blinded by the most obvious things when we're deeply invested in a project. Our passion, while powerful, can also obscure the immediate reality of generating revenue. This is why having a clear understanding of your cash flow is vital. It's not just a number, it's your business's lifeline. Without consistent cash flow, even the most innovative idea will eventually collapse, regardless of its long-term potential. And yes, it's not all about money. But here's another brutal truth. In business, the first 60% of it is about money, no matter what. You need to generate that revenue to survive, to learn, to grow, and to eventually achieve that freedom you started for. So if your business feels like it's on life support, don't just keep doing the same thing. Look at your angling, your presentation, your target client, and critically, your cash flow. Because survival isn't about perfection, it's about making those painful, necessary pivots that keep you in the game. Now, if you're feeling like you're truly at the end of your rope, contemplating giving up entirely, then my next video is your lifeline. Click here to watch it.